Our first bonus episode of 2026 has arrived. In the lead up to Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey releasing in July later this year, we're taking a look at some Greek mythology-inspired films, and the first on the slate is a childhood favorite of ours, the 1997 Disney film Hercules. So grab a sword, or maybe a lightning bolt, and go the distance with us on a new bonus episode of Watch, Review, Repeat, which begins now. Welcome to Watch, Review, Repeat. This is the podcast where two best friends discuss the latest in film and television and then do it all over again the following episode. My name is Colton Brown, and joining me is Andrew Meadows.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, who puts the glad in gladiator?
Hercules.
Oh, because that's what we're talking about on this bonus episode.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Hercules, 1997. The Disney Hercules, for those who maybe don't know what year it came out, but, sometimes we discuss the latest in film and television, then sometimes we kick it back, almost 30 years, and revisit something I think that, at least for me, was a staple of my childhood.
Absolutely.
So, It's good to throw it back sometimes, especially when you got something like Hercules.
And I'm glad that I get to enjoy this one with you because I've been running through the gamut of these for a couple of years now.
Sure, of course.
And, excited to talk about this one. And damn it, any one of these classic Disney cartoons you want to visit, dude? I'll talk about them all day long.
You're there? Yeah. No,
easy watches.
You got the easiest excuse to watch any kids movie ever made.
Yeah.
Unless it's in a theater, then that's a little bit of a harder sell right now anyway. But give them time. Give those boys some time. They'll be ready to go to a movie theater. And behave for an hour and a half, 2 hours. Just takes a little bit of time. We are talking about Hercules, 1997, the Disney Hercules, on this bonus episode, which is bonus episode 36. We're recording this in March, which makes it our first bonus episode of 2026, and we are recording it much earlier than we recorded our first bonus episode of 2025, which was, I think, maybe literally the last day of that calendar year. We needn't worry about that. We're doing a little bit better, is what I'm saying. We're feeling good about ourselves. We ended up with a week where it made sense to record this, and gives me an opportunity to catch up on the regular episodes going up, because we had a couple long ones that ended up dragging out the editing process on my end. I'll take that. But how does this work? It's a brief timed exclusive for our supporters on Patreon. So it's going to be up on Patreon for some amount of time, usually a few weeks, maybe a month, maybe longer. We usually end up plugging these into the regular feed when there's an obvious gap, if we're taking a week off, or, if we get behind, and this is an easy way to kind of, fill the void, then usually that's when it happens. Or if it coincides with, something coming out. We used to do a lot of bonus episodes that were thematically tied to a big thing coming out. And this is no exception. And I'll talk about that in a second. But I do want to explain the Patreon stuff just quickly, just to do the less fun businessy things up front, and then we'll get into the fun things like talking about Hercules. If you are listening to this and you're a supporter on Patreon, which is to say that you've gone to patreon.com/watchreviewrepeat and contributed $2 a month to us over however long you've done it, all you have to do it is once, and you suddenly get access to this. If you are one of those people that has done that, has supported us on Patreon, and that's how you're listening to this, we very much appreciate your support. Thank you so much. And if you're listening to this on the regular feed, whenever it is, maybe it's still March, maybe it's April, maybe it's even later. I really can't predict the future from when we're recording this, but it'll be up on the feed at some point. It's not too late to support us on Patreon. It's too late to get the timed exclusive access to this episode, but I think it's safe to say we're going to be doing at least a couple more bonus episodes in 2026. Hopefully more, ideally more. But we sometimes make lofty promises we can't keep, but I think that's a reasonable promise that we can keep and do certainly intend to keep. So if you haven't supported us on Patreon yet, Go to patreon.com/watchreviewrepeat. Like I said, you can get early access to all of these bonus episodes that we're going to be doing. And of course, you also get early access to all of our regular episodes, which is a really big deal because sometimes they take a while. I work. And
I work as well.
Life gets in the way, so it's often, we usually try to turn them around and get them on the Patreon within a couple days of recording, but it, will often take a week, maybe longer to actually get them up on the feed. So yeah, you want to be the first to hear anything we say, our hot takes on the latest movies, on the latest in film and television, then Patreon is the place for that. So why are we covering Hercules on this episode? Because we want to go from zero to hero. That's why. No, we've decided. We put our heads together. We were trying to figure out what should we do for a bonus episode. I think we did kick around Tropic Thunder for a second there. We won't rule it out. Could happen. Doesn't really tie into what I'm about to say, but can't rule it out. No, of course, there's a big movie that we've talked about on basically every episode for the past however many months, and probably will continue to do so for the next many months, and that is Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, which is coming out in July. I think I keep saying it's coming out in June. Let me clarify for everyone. It is coming out in July. You will be disappointed if you go to a theater in June and try to watch it. But we thought maybe we should do stuff that's, either tied into the Odyssey directly or something that's like Greek mythology adjacent. We've been doing a lot of mythological trivia, at the top of the episode, for at least the past few since our 300 bonus episode, actually. And this will be no exception. We'll get to that, I think, if Andrew's got one ready to go in just a second. But yeah, no, the idea is let's do some things, kind of continue to build our hype for the Odyssey. We're going to be obviously covering all the movies and TV shows that we can in the lead up to the Odyssey, but this is a fun way to kind of immerse ourselves a little bit more in very specifically Greek mythology in preparation for the Odyssey. So fortuitously, we've already kind of done a couple things. We did Troy a couple of years ago as part of our series of epic bonus episodes that obviously is more about ancient Greece, so much more than it is about Greek mythology. It kind of strips all the mythology out of it, and in terms of it, it's a more grounded approach. No gods, or at least no gods present intervening, in the Trojan War type of thing. But of course, as I mentioned, the 300s are very much Greek inspired as well. Same deal. There's some funky things happening there, but it's not Zeus. It's not Hades. It's not the Greek gods intervening and fighting battles. But it all kind of ties in to sort of what we're doing here and what we maybe will hope to do with our next couple bonus episodes. So we thought, why don't we start with the really, really fun one, in terms of, deliberately planning to do these Greek mythology inspired bonus episodes. Let's start with a nice breezy hour and a half, 40-minute fucking Disney movie in Hercules. And I think we made the right call. So I'm excited to talk about it, but I'm also excited to see if I can successfully answer a mythological trivia question.
We're going to keep it Hercules.
Perfect. Very good.
Hercules related.
I was doing a little bit of a deep dive on Hercules, aka Heracles, earlier, so we'll see if I can get it right.
To appease the gods, how many labors does the Greek hero Hercules have to perform? 7?
Okay.
3, 42, or 12?
All right. So I actually do know the answer to this. The Wikipedia deep dive did come in handy.
Very nice.
The answer is 12, Regis. Final answer.
Yes, very good.
You just won $1 million. And I think, if I may, good sir, I believe that the original arrangement was that Hercules, aka Heracles, would have to do 10, but then the king that he was doing the 10 labors for was like, some of these weren't good enough, so he had to do a couple more, so it ended up being 12. And so I was worried that 10 or 12 were both going to be options, and then it was like, oh, now this is tricky. What 10 might be the technically correct answer, but 12 is what he ultimately ended up doing. So I'm basically a Hercules expert at this point, you might say. So
okay.
Yeah, I did. Look, something to talk about. Obviously, is
a bit of a scientist myself.
I'm something of a mythologist myself. I don't know, classicist, something of a classicist myself. Anna might kill me if she overhears that, because she actually is. No, we'll get into it when we get into this movie, but it's definitely a Disney-fied version of Greek mythology, which is far more twisted and tragic than it is, certainly presented within this movie. But let's talk about this movie. Hercules was released June 13th of 1997, of course, courtesy of Walt Disney. Written by Ron Clements, John Musker, Donald McInerney, Bob Shaw, and Irene Mecci. It's directed by John Musker and Ron Clements. It's, of course, something we'll certainly get into in a little bit more, but you heard about it a little bit just now. Based on Hercules, a divine hero in Greek mythology, which to Western audiences and Roman is known as Hercules. I don't really know why that's the name that stuck for us versus
Hercules.
I really don't know what the basis for that is, but it is obviously just how it is. The film stars the voice cast of Tate Donovan, Danny DeVito, James Woods, Susan Egan, and many, many more. And it's about the son of Zeus and Hera, who is stripped of his immortality as an infant and must become a true hero in order to reclaim it. He must go from zero to hero. He must yes, indeed.
Go the distance.
He must go the distance. That's absolutely right.
Reluctantly crouch on the starting line. Engines. Sorry.
Exactly. Before we jump into just fully talking about this movie, and of course we will not be segmenting into non-spoilers and spoilers for this almost 30-year-old movie. Yeah, I know. Just breathe it in. Just recognize how old this fucking movie is and how old you probably feel now. That's how it goes. It's unfortunate, but here we are. I have a little bit of a fun fact that I found that I know you've already done the mythological trivia and, do we need a separate fun fact? But I think it's actually really fun because it really, really ties into why we did this episode in the first place. And something that I had absolutely no idea about is that Disney, back in early 1992, almost did an adaptation of the Odyssey. Literally of the Odyssey.
Man.
So early 1992, there were 30 artists, writers, and animators who pitched ideas for potential animated features before Disney. They had a 2-minute window. Give us your pitch, and we'll see if it's going to go forward. The first pitch was for the Odyssey. They moved it into production in 93, then ultimately they stopped making it because I think it was like, how do you make the Odyssey into a Disney movie? Which, the reasons that I'm seeing quoted are too long, lacked central characters, and failed to translate into animated comedy. Okay, fine. But anyway, it sort of pivoted into a pivot sketch for Hercules, and it was a very different movie at that time, a very different story that would have been set during the Trojan War, and then ultimately that got into the hands of Ron Clements and John Musker, who had worked on Aladdin in 1992. Once they kind of got their hands on it, they basically...
We can make this shit work.
Yeah, they figured out, let's figure out how to do this. They did their own research, kind of looking into mythology and stuff, and then kind of came up with their own story of it. And that's ultimately how you ended up with the movie that we got. Almost the Disney version of the Odyssey, and we would definitely have been covering that as a bonus episode if it had actually happened.
I think the Odyssey could be Disneyfied. I think you.
Okay. Yeah.
I think you could. I mean, just like with this movie, you'd have to take liberties and play kind of fast and loose with it. But I think you could definitely tell the Odyssey in a Disney form. I think that would be really. I think it'd be really awesome.
Yeah. Well, what could have been, huh?
Yeah.
Well, instead we got this movie. We got Hercules. So I don't know. Do you want to start with, what's your history with this movie? Maybe.
I don't even. The white styrofoam VHS.
The VHS, yeah, sure. Yep, that was in the family collection, the Brown family collection as well. It sounds like so.
Watched over and over and over again. Just like all the classic Disney movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, wore them out.
You wear them out. You go to daycare. I don't know if you went to daycare. I went to daycare because my mom worked at a daycare. So, and yeah, you'd watch it there. You'd watch it at home. I think it's actually kind of, well, I mean, I don't think there would be a earlier thing that would have got me into like mythology and stuff. You know what I mean?
No, I mean, yeah. What else?
I mean, when you would go, you would do the Hercules. You know, early on you would do Hercules, and then you'd go to like 4th or 5th grade or 3rd grade or whatever, and you'd learn like the basic stuff. You know, so it'd be reinforced at school. And then I think later on the Mummy comes out, and I'm a little bit older then. You know, and now I watch that on repeat, and that's a whole nother pantheon of gods and stuff, and it's just yeah. But I think it all starts with. Hercules.
Goes back to Hercules.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, I have a similar experience. It sounds like definitely. I don't think I saw this in a theater. I probably would have been a little too young. I don't have any memory of it. Obviously, I could be wrong. Could be misremembering. But I do know we had the VHS because exactly the way you described it is how I remember it. And I remember watching it. Definitely over and over again as children do. The shit just does not get old.
No.
And you know, I mean, revisiting it as an adult, I don't know the last time I saw this movie. I would say it's been a long time for me. I don't know if this is one you'd already rewatched with Bennett maybe in the past couple of years, so you probably have a little bit more recency if you have.
We have Bennett has he's got these I don't know what they're called. They're like gold spined books. You know, I don't expect you to know, but they're like Disney books, and they're like real thin, you know. But they got Disney characters.
I think I maybe seen them on a shelf, like when I've been there. If I'm not, I'm thinking of something. Anyway,
he's got a bunch of them. Anyways, he's got one of Hercules, and so it's one that we watched first, and then he saw him in the book, and he thought it was cool. And this is months ago, you know what I mean? He's a little bit younger. They like they jump in the way that they interact and see things. But anyways, now he watched it, and when he watched it this time with me, he actually he actually kind of got upset when the people were mean to Hercules. You know what I mean? He didn't want to and then he got kind of like
Hercules.
Yeah, and then he got kind of like with the "Go the Distance" song. Like he didn't. He was kind of like kind of got kind of quiet a little bit. And it's like, you okay, Bubba?
Okay. So was it hitting him?
I think it was. Hitting him. I couldn't see him because he was like cuddled up on my side.
It was hitting me.
It hits me every time. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So I'm really I can talk about this stuff, but I'm really curious. You finish your thoughts on your history with it, but I really want to hear.
I mean, that's
how it impacted you.
That's pretty much it. I mean, I just have the fondness for it, but I hadn't seen it in, I would guess, probably over a decade. I just can't. I don't think I own it in any form. You know, the VHS maybe is in a. I don't know. I don't know if my parents still have the VHS collection. That might have been phased out long ago. I mean, I watched it on Disney Plus, and I don't know. It's just one of those things. I don't really watch a lot of the classic Disney stuff. I mean, you know, obviously when you have a kid, it's probably a built-in reason to be doing all that, to revisit a lot of these classics. For me, not that you need a reason, but I just haven't had, I haven't had anything that's pushed me into rewatching it in a very, very long time. So this was the push I needed. And I'm glad I did, because it just, I mean, I know a lot of it is probably nostalgia, but I also think this is fucking awesome, like, regardless. Right. Personally.
Yeah, no.
I think the music's great. I think the characters are fun. I think the animation's gorgeous. I love the mythology side of it. Like, that's almost something I think as an adult I appreciate more, is just like, you know, half of these gods are not named, but it's like, oh, it's Ares, you know,
yeah.
Oh, you know, like, it's kind of fun to see that sort of side of things, with certainly the knowledge that I wouldn't have had as a kid. Like, I remember the things I liked about this movie as a kid. I'm sure it was the music. I know Hades was funny, you know, like,
yeah.
There's a lot of things about it.
Pain and
Pain and Panic, or
Pain
Fantastic.
And Panic, yeah.
Very funny. I think there's definitely, you know, jokes and stuff that would have gone over my head as a child. But a lot of the references, you know, there's curves is one for sure. There's mythological stuff, you know. There's one, what is he, when he sees the centaur or whatever, and he like He like looks down pauses for a beat and then says, "Sir," you know. There's things in this movie that definitely, as a classic Disney movie has, there's a little. It's like it's not quite innuendo, but it's quick and fast enough that in the moment a kid doesn't even think about that sort of line of dialogue, whereas the adult's getting a chuckle. It's the perfect kind of kids movie that is very much for both audiences, not to the exclusion of one or the other, but just a great all-around family movie. And this one, to me, I think holds up as a great classic Disney movie for me. And again, I'll say probably some nostalgia driving that, maybe some of the fact that like the mythology stuff appeals to me anyway. But I had an absolute blast watching this movie for the first time in a long time. So yeah. What about you? Recently seen it, but you probably were. I'm sure you weren't hesitant to go back and watch it.
No,
again for this
definitely
bonus
not.
episode.
I think so. As I cannot claim that I am a connoisseur of Disney movies. I've just had the privilege to be able to revisit all these animated features within the last couple years, and the treatment that they've given these movies with the releases on Disney Plus, and probably like the Blu-rays and everything else, they're beautiful. They do like the full screens. It's like they've gone over and they've redone them. They're very
I did notice that it looked better than I recall my VHS looking.
Yeah, they're really good.
CRT TV.
Beauty and the Beast is probably the most like the first one that I really noticed, because like it goes through like this little German village and stuff, and it's really pretty. But this is no different too. There's a sequence in Hercules where he's fighting the Hydra, and it's like it's like full on 3D animated. It's like, wow, this looks really awesome for what it is, you know. And so I don't know, just I think as you like revisit these things as you're a little bit older, like I say, you pick up on the way it's written a little differently, but then you can appreciate different things like the animation, and you appreciate the like, oh, they redid this movie and they refinished it in a way that looks excellent on modern televisions, which is pretty cool. But where do you want to start with Hercules? You want to start with like?
Oh, I thought we already started.
We are. Well, I mean,
we'll go where you want to go.
I want to go the distance. Can we talk about go the distance?
We could go the distance. So, what do you think? Michael Bolton version credit song, or the in movie version?
Version.
Maybe the follow-up question to be asked is, how many tears were drawn by Hercules? And what was it? The music that did it? Was it something in the plot? You know, the character stuff that really did it, or was it maybe all of the above? I don't know.
Like, I don't know. I think at some point, every person can identify with Hercules. Teenage Hercules, you know what I mean? He's got these big feet.
Can't do anything
he feels
right,
like he can't do anything right. Yeah, everybody like he feels out of place, and he doesn't feel like he belongs anywhere. You know, and so I think everybody can really hammer down, especially as a 30-something-year-old adult. You can find a point in your life where I've been him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if, like, I can't speak for Bennett, you know, but for me, it's easy to pin down where that I've been him before. And so a part of it, go the distance could be like, I've been him before, and it hits emotionally, but also it's nostalgic. I know it's got to be nostalgic, you know? And like, I can remember watching this movie and not feeling it resonate like it did, like it does now, you know? Which is like kind of makes it even more impactful. This movie's been with me for so long that it didn't mean anything to me when I first watched it, you know? But yeah, just a really, really, really awesome song. And it's really cool because they really revisit they revisit it like multiple times, like a sequence, like the song starts, and then a couple of things will happen, and then he'll dive right back in, you know?
Yeah.
And start singing stuff. And I think it's like the main isn't this the song that is the not the theme, but like the what's the word I'm looking for the musical tune that keeps popping up throughout the movie.
Yeah, what's that word?
You know that word.
Neither of us have had enough alcohol to block our brains in this way, but
no. What's that word? Recurring.
It's recurring.
It's a
motif.
Motif. Yes, isn't "Going the Distance" the motif of the song, or the motif of?
I mean, yeah, I think more or less it probably. I think there's a. The full version. There's a reprise of it. I think that it's the credits song. And it's probably one of those things where the instrumental side of it probably recurs. Sweeping epic moments towards the end. Like you're probably getting more instrumental parts of it too. Like obviously there are other songs, but it is the only one I think that really, truly recurs. I guess So
what a good song.
I think it's probably fair to characterize it that way. There's some other good stuff in there. I mean, Zero to Hero, I think, is a classic. All the gospel influenced music is really lovely. Like it's really great. Obviously it's a
Hercules. Yeah, that's a good one. Good.
Yeah. No, all good. I will say
wildly creative too. Yeah.
I like Meg's song. I mean, like the Phil song. It's Danny DeVito kind of DeVitoing, through it. And it's like fun enough. But the Meg song, I think is pretty freaking catchy.
So that's the thing. You have "Go the Distance," which is like the one
that's like the
heart jerking one that has right there.
That's the emotion. It's like the sweeping emotional one. Zero to Hero is like kind of a romp, like a fun romp of a song, and it's got the, like the switch and key. I think partway to the song is like, it has that where it kind of it switches and it's fun.
It felt very like Louisiana kind of deal. You know what I mean? Especially when they started doing like the gospel bit at the end of the song.
Yeah, for sure, and that's almost like the point where the movie pivots from like Hercules. It's literally going from zero to hero. Like, that's the point where the movie kind of shifts, in terms of what it is, what it's about at that point too. So it's a really fun sort of transition point. The Meg song is just I don't know, sweet, and like her, like very much her. I think I read that like they originally had a different song written for her. And then they kind of just like, this doesn't feel like something Meg would say, cause she's a very, headstrong, character, like a very interesting. Well, I mean, certainly for the '90s, female, lead character, where she's not, a princess. She's not a goody two shoes. Obviously, I think that, she's definitely got heart to her. But at the end of the day, she did sell her soul to Hades for some reason, for a boy. It sounds like so
for a boy, who left her hanging.
Yep.
Ran off to another broad.
With some floozy, probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And much like Hercules, she did. She did something. Well, I guess Hercules didn't do something. Well, he did. He put all the people's lives in danger.
He fucking destroyed that one, place. Destroys everyone. The guy's got all his pots and stuff, and he's okay for a second.
That guy up.
That guy's definitely dead.
That was funny.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Yeah, but Meg's song is actually, I think. So you got the heart-wrenching song, you got the fun song. Zero to Hero is fun and it's gospel-y and whatnot. But I think the most nuanced song, and probably the one that's like if you said, hey, what song do you want to listen to, and what song do you think is more like nuanced isn't the right word. I mean, it is nuanced, but the one that's more musically, like, I don't know. I think, like, I don't know. I really think I Won't Say I'm in Love is just a well-rounded, very, very, very well-written song. I think it's a very good song.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, I think that's the fun of the soundtrack.
I think it's probably my favorite song on Hercules.
Okay. All
right. The other one brings more emotion and stuff. But like I said, if you're going to pick one song to listen to, it's like just like Beauty and the Beast. The Beauty and the Beast has a lot of good songs. You got Be My Guest. You got Gaston. Okay, but if you're gonna tell me which song are you gonna listen to? Like if I happen to be down, like driving down the road the road and
sure,
and I'm not gonna turn it. It's gonna be the Beauty and the Beast. I like that one a lot. That's a really good one.
Sure. Yeah.
The main one. But anyways, yeah.
So it's another bonus episode, Beauty and the Beast.
Dude, don't get me started. That one's a good one.
Yeah, I think just the variety of the soundtrack is what makes it
the variety.
What makes it work so well, and genre bending, and but I think perfectly well suited to the moments too, like really well integrated in terms of like that Meg song is kind of a sad moment where like, Meg has obviously done a lot of wrong and is now trying to do right, but maybe it's too late, Go the Distance is sort of this sort of inspiring, aspirational song about, I can be better. I can, achieve my potential, I can find somewhere that I belong, like all of it kind of just, I don't know, like it just really thematically it's just seamless. It's perfect, I mean, all those songs just slide right in so perfectly. And of course, I think that just kind of goes to the fact that this is just a really fun movie that I think has a very obviously recognizable story. Nothing terribly original on that front, but a really, really well done version of that. I mean, they kind of gave him Superman's story, and which is a little bit different from the mythology. He goes to live with the Kents for a bit, and has to, figure out how to grapple with his godlike powers and prove himself a hero. But that's Superman didn't invent that story either. You know what I mean? So
you were fresh on the Hercules, and I was actually struggling to think of Hercules' origin because I don't think it's Hera and Zeus's kid, right?
Yeah, well, so that's definitely where this thing gets Disney-fied in a big, big way right off the bat. He is not the child of the loving Zeus and Hera. He is the son of Zeus. He is not a son of Hera.
Yeah. Zeus has a lot of kids. Yeah.
Zeus has a lot of kids. Things are pretty messy. He's kind of a messy god. He messes around quite a bit, you would say. So the actual story, and then I'll just do the truncated version that I know just very little of other than what I've read today. He's the son of Zeus and a mortal woman named Alcmene. And so basically, Hera is not a fan of this sort of thing that, Zeus has this child with this mortal woman. And so Hera makes it her lifelong passion to fucking ruin Hercules' life.
Yeah. She is brutal too. You don't want to be on the wrong side of Hera.
No,
she does this to everybody.
No. Yeah, you don't want to have any gods disfavoring you, certainly. But she does some things to Heracles that make him quite a tragic figure. And I'll get into that in a second. But I think the also super really fun thing on top of the fact that it's Zeus and Alcmene is the fact that Zeus sees Alcmene and says, "I like the way you look. I'm going to disguise myself as your husband. Come home early from the war that your husband is fighting in, and we'll see where the night takes us." So, yeah,
rapey a little bit. That's kind of fucked up.
I think it qualifies. It certainly qualifies, but it's okay. No, it's not actually okay. But the really fun thing on top of that is, coincidentally, her husband actually does come home the very same night and becomes pregnant with him at the same time from a different set of nocturnal activities, and so she becomes double pregnant with Heracles and Iphicles, is it Iphicles? That's actually yes, he's the maternal half twin brother of Heracles. So,
what's Iphicles do? Well, Iphicles is just a mortal man. He's just a normal guy. But Iphicles does do something because I remember him.
He's just a guy because he is the son of
just a mortal man, right?
Yeah, of two mortals. He fights in some battles. It looks like.
Yeah, he develops a name for himself as being a mortal person.
Yeah,
I think.
I don't know exactly what he does.
What big shoes? Could you imagine your brother's fucking Hercules and your Iphicles?
He also becomes the father. It looks like of Elaus, I don't know if I'm I'm definitely saying that wrong, who is Heracles' charioteer and squire, who later helps Heracles with his labors, the labors that we talked about earlier, and he's also one of the Argonauts with Jason,
which are the most badass guys ever. The Argonauts are awesome.
Yeah,
man, there's
it's all
so many cool things. You got to get in on this shit. There's so many good stories. So many good stories. I can't say it enough. You got to these one. There's just so like the. I just did what are the books I did?
Well, the Stephen Fry ones.
Yeah, the Stephen Fry ones. That's
3 or 4 of those now. So
yeah.
I
can't. If anybody listens to this episode or any of our episodes and leaves with anything, you need to get in on this shit. It's good stuff, especially if you've never explored it. And what's totally crazy is you tell me about Zeus, or you tell me about Hera, or you tell me about these gods in like parentheses, you know what I mean? Or you tell me it was written like 6,000 years ago, or whenever it was written, I don't know. And you're going to say, I don't think that sounds terribly interesting. But then you just start talking about what these characters did. And like you say, that's messy shit, dude. That's Zeus is pretty fucked up. You know, and all this crazy stuff starts happening. And I don't know. It humanizes this thing that's been retold century after century after century. And it makes it timeless and personable. And I don't know. I think it's wildly interesting that tales that are being told so long ago are interesting to my 2.5-year-old who's almost 3. Now, granted, it's a Disney-fied version of it, but he's thoroughly invested, right?
It would not be age appropriate for him to learn the true mythology at this point. This is a good introduction.
That's right.
Get your feet wet. You get the kind of general gist of it, and then when you're old enough, you can start to uncover deeper how fucked up this all really is. Like, for instance, the fact that Heracles. This is sort of similar to how it goes down in the movie. He marries a woman by the name of Megara, who is the daughter of King Creon in Thebes, and then bad things happen because Hera, she's still quite upset about
Hercules is going to have joy and happiness.
Yeah, I don't think so. Not on my watch. She drives him to a fit of madness, which leads him to kill Megara and his children with her, and so Heracles is obviously
which is a blood
tormented
crime,
by
right?
this.
I think it's a blood crime.
Well, right? Maybe you probably know more than me in terms of this. All I have right now is Wikipedia and the conversations I had with Anna before we recorded. So that's all I'm going off of. That's my mythology. He goes to the Oracle of Delphi to figure out how do I atone for these actions, for killing my wife and children, and that is what leads him to serve King Eurystheus for 10 years, perform any tasks. He gives him the 10 labors. We talked about that. And then he gets cheated and has to add 2 more. So he gets the 12 labors, which are basically, these are things you couldn't possibly do, like slay the Nemean lion, slay the 9-headed Lernaean hydra. Could have been Scar. Scar's in this movie. That's fun. I don't know if I've never noticed that as a kid, the little cheeky Scar lion in there. That's fun. Capture the golden hind of Artemis, capture the Erymanthean boar, clean the Augean stables in a single day, slay the Stymphalian birds, capture the Cretan bull, steal the mares of Diomedes, obtain the belt of Hippolyta, queen of the Amazons, obtain the cattle of the monster Geryon, steal the golden apples.
Yeah,
steal the golden apples of the Hesperides. Hesperides. I should have checked some of these things. And then finally, capture and bring back Cerberus, the 3-headed dog, the Hound of Hades. Those are the 12 labors. So this dude had to do some shit to atone for these things, and then he's got a whole thing. He's maybe in the Trojan War later on. He dies, and then maybe he's a god. I don't know. It's a whole thing.
I think Hercules also is one of 2 people that ventures into Hades and comes back.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
I think the other one that did that was his name starts with an O. Can't remember.
Well, Orpheus does
Orpheus does
that.
That's it. Orpheus does that.
But then he looks back. as he's not supposed to do.
No good.
So I guess he maybe gets out, but Eurydice not so much. Drinking Orpheus brewing glass right now.
Oh shit! Look at you, dude. Full.
And my beer can, if you'll notice, is very Hercules coated in terms of its color scheme.
Look at that.
So I'm like going all out. I mean, it's not a Herculean beer or anything like that, but maybe in terms of ABV.
Does it tell you about Hercules' demise?
There is a whole section called Death. I did not. I felt like I was.
It is a
getting long in the tooth, so I was trying to get to the end, but.
I think he ends up having it's something to do with poison or acid or some shit. And he literally
that's right. Burns
alive or something.
There's some poison because his second wife or something like that has this like shirt or something like that from Nessus, who is the I don't know. It's a whole thing. And then he maybe doesn't die, and maybe he becomes a god when he dies. So maybe it's okay, because then he gets another wife once he's a god. He's got 4 wives. If you look on the Wikipedia page, consorts and children, the list goes to 36, and lots of kids, it would appear. I don't know. He's a busy man. He was a busy man god hero figure, divine hero. That's what they call him.
Tragic. He's a tragic dude, though. Definitely
tragic overall for sure. Yeah. Certainly very different than the Disney Hercules, who is tragic. Certainly initially, and obviously is subject to tragedy. Being stolen from Olympus as a child, and then brought low as a mere mortal, but superpowered mortal, I guess. And then till he's brought high once he proves himself a true hero. The Disneyfied version definitely glosses over the rape, the whole his mom is trying to actively ruin his fucking life thing, because his mom is loving in this. Hera loves him, and he's actually a child of Hera in this. Very big change in the mythology. But there's a lot of shit that's like just kind of like, it's Disney, we're just going to make it up. Like Phil, who is Danny DeVito's character, is a satyr. I think Phil in the mythology is I think just a guy. I think he's, I think he's just a guy.
I don't think he's a satyr, but I thought, I want to say the person that teaches all the people. I think he's
I don't think he's a satyr, though. I
don't think he's a satyr. I think he's a half. I think he's a minotaur. I think.
Well, maybe. Certainly possible.
Look it
but
up. Maybe I'm wrong. I might be wrong.
And little things here and that, like Hades is not a super conniving villain necessarily. Like he's not I don't know if Hades is necessarily a good guy in terms of mythology, but certainly not. And there's like little things like Hades' characterization. Like there's no mention of Persephone in this movie. There's Hades is kind of a one-dimensional. No one appreciates me because I'm in the underworld, so I'm going to take it over for myself, and that sort of thing. So,
I am thinking of Chiron.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah.
He trains Achilles, Jason.
I think is he a centaur?
He is a centaur. Yeah, I got that. Not Minotaur. Did I say Minotaur before, or did I say Centaur?
I think you said Minotaur, but
yeah, Centaur. So, yeah,
he's got 4 legs and a couple arms. Little horseman, big horseman probably. Yeah. Anyway, this Hercules movie, it's great. It's fucking cool. I think. Trying to think of some great moments. Well, favorite moments for me, if nothing else, we can go to favorite moments if you want to just jump around and think about things. I think it's happened on this podcast before. I couldn't cite a particular episode, but I've always loved Pegasus. I always loved baby Pegasus and his sleeping patterns. That brings me great joy, and it brought me great joy when I watched this movie a couple days ago. You have any big favorite moments that stand out to you? Kick it to you.
I think it's funny when Phil's watching the nymphs.
Oh yeah, he's a bit of a perv, but it's in like a funny sort of way.
And then when he sits on the tree branch with Meg. I'm real too, sweet cheeks.
What a great Danny DeVito performance.
Yeah, it's great. It's good.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Apparently, I read that they basically wrote that character with DeVito in mind, and he didn't want to do it at first, and they eventually got him to do it after they went through many people who were not quite the right fit. So definitely a very good casting choice there.
I think it was I like Pain and Panic. I think they're hilarious.
Yeah, very funny. I agree. Gee, mister.
I'm going for innocence or whatever he says. I really enjoy the like the townspeople.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure.
You know, like they I can't remember in particular. Like when they come in the first time, and like there's the guy on the corner saying the world's coming to an end, it's coming to an end, blah 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 blah. You know, and Hercules is like, oh, you need a hero, and I don't know. I think it's just all very entertaining. I think it's very good. I really like the Hydra fight. I like that. I really like the animation in the Hydra fight. I think it was awesome.
I think that's definitely something I remember from watching this as a kid is the Hydra fight and like how cool it was. And and the 3D animation technique is actually like really well done and well integrated. Like it definitely stands apart and that it looks a little bit different from the rest of the movie, but not in a way that makes it like feel off. You know what I mean? Like I do feel like it's like really, really cool integration of that, you know, early 3D technology into animation.
Beauty and the Beast does the same thing, like when they're dancing in the ballroom. I don't know if you can immediately recall.
And
that
I know
but
Anastasia has a lot of 3D components. I think more than some, and some are good. Some are like, you know, technology's, you know, work in progress or whatever. That wasn't a Disney movie at the time. It is now because it was a Fox movie. But no, that Hydra stuff is really cool. And just the I forget what he says. Stop with the head slicing. You know.
Yeah. Gets out of hand pretty quick.
Oh God, that's funny.
For God's sake, stop with the head slicing. Yeah. Danny DeVito's awesome in this.
Yeah. No, very good. Very good.
What else do we have? I think Hades used to be more of I used to enjoy Hades more than I do now, I think.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Like, what do you think's changed?
I don't know. I just find all the other, like Danny DeVito's character, he's got more adult humor.
Yeah, I guess that's true. You know, it's probably Hades is, you know, fast talking, wisecracking, and that's good when you're younger. It's still good when you're old.
Yeah,
too,
that's
don't
not
get
bad.
me wrong.
He's not bad.
But I think like his manner of talking and like his humor is definitely, I think, pretty kid friendly. You know, which is good. I mean, he's a really fun villain. You know what I mean? Like I think obviously a lot of these classic Disney movies have very classic fun villains, but Hades I think is still a standout in that aspect as well. Like I don't know. It's very fun, charming character.
It's funny every time like he starts just like wigging out. And he
loses his shit.
You know?
Yeah. When he loses his shit is great. His hair gets blown out. It's always good. You know, it's fun. No, yeah, good. Just
I'm rearranging the cosmos, and you're wearing his gear or whatever he says. Payne's wearing his fucking flip flops. Hercules.
What are
flip-flops.
those? The original. What are those? I'm sure.
Oh, that's so good. It's a good impression. It's good.
Oh man.
He's drinking the drink. You want some? It's good shit, man. It's good shit.
Oh man.
The muses were awesome. How they always breaking into dance and stuff. I really, really, really like Meg's sequence. Where it's really cool too, because like her song is kind of sad. It's a little edgy, you know what I mean? But you see her, it breaks down her character, you know? It breaks her down and you can really, you can kind of, I don't know. She become. I think in that instance, in the garden, she becomes more relatable. You know.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I really, really, really like the whole sequence with her song. I think it's awesome.
I think that's really where you see that. You know, obviously she is. You know, working for herself and working in conjunction with Hades, obviously, because, you know, she sold her soul or whatever. But, you know, but I think that is a critical point where obviously, you know, it's going to be devastating for Hercules, who's quite smitten. But, you know, that's where you, I think, really can underline how genuine she is as a character too, you know?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And her feelings for him. So yeah, no, it's just, it's nice, you know, it's nice, but it's tragic, but then it's nice again. You know, it's definitely, I don't know. I think I was surprised at how dark some of this is. I mean, like, you know, like the actual mythology stuff cutting through, you know, like, speaking of cutting, you know, the fucking scissors and
oh yeah,
I think at the beginning they cut and then you just hear the, you know, I was like, oh shit, someone just died. You know, I was like, that's kind of dark. I mean, people die all the time. You know, it happens. It's a natural thing that happens, but I don't know, sort of dark when it's presented in this particular way where it's just,
what are their names?
You know, kooky women with the, are they the fates?
The fates. What they are? Yeah, the fates.
Yeah. You know, but I think the ending, you know, especially too with Meg really dying and then, you know, Herc having to go to the underworld and like swim in the river Styx to save her, like pretty intense stuff.
But it says, like, you know? This movie, Dad, I like this movie. I said, you scared Bubba? He said, so you can cover your eyes. And I cover his eyes with a blanket.
That part's pretty intense. It's pretty scary.
He pulls the blanket down so you can still see, you know? Yeah.
I don't know. I think even as an adult looking at it, like it's, I don't know. I mean, I think you know, there's a lot of fun in this movie, you know, he's beating up the Cyclops, he's beating up the Titans and whatever. And like, that's all fun and stuff. But then, you know, it's kind of like, all right, everything's all good. And then Hades like, I've got one more trick up my sleeve. And I don't know. I thought that was really, really interesting. And then, you know, it's funny that Hades gets flushed down the toilet of the underworld.
If he gets out.
Yeah. If is good.
Fucking Pain and Panic. And they always do that in the Disney movies. There's always like two little minions.
Timon and Pumbaa. Sure. Well, I guess
you got the two eels in the mermaid.
Yeah. Well, I guess you have villain. You have the Lion King also has the.
Well, they got three, right? They got three hyenas there
on the villain side of things. So, yeah,
they're a little posse, you know. But
right, yeah. You know, but they had it down to a formula, but it wasn't a bad thing. You know what I mean? Like for Disney to like kind of just like they knew how to make this shit pop. You know, they knew how to make it funny. They knew how to make the music good. And I guess we didn't really say this, but you know, in terms of music, I guess credit should be owed to Alan Menken, David Zippel, who did that score from Alan Menken as well. You know, I think. They just make it work, and I have to say this movie was just a fucking blast to watch, and I would recommend it. It's a nice breezy 93-minute watch on Disney Plus, very easily accessible. I think it's a fun distillation, you could say bastardization of the Greek mythology, but I think it's got enough of the touchstones that like it's fun. Don't take it as, you know, this is 100% accurate. Like, of course it's not. It is 100% a Disney-fied version of it. But I think there's enough there that it works, you know? I
would argue that if you're building interest in the classics, you're not bastardizing anything. If you can make the youth interested in classic shit, I think you're doing your job. You're doing the purpose of building a legend. You know what I'm saying? Like, if without this movie, I would have never been. I mean, I would have eventually been exposed to stuff, but would I have been as interested? I don't know. Probably not. You know. So I think it's important that this stuff gets made and it makes history interesting. You know, especially for sure. Younger audiences. I think it's paramount that these things continue to get made. So yeah, I'm all about it.
I agree. And I think it helps to do it with a movie that's as fun as this. I think also, just again, as beautifully animated, and I think like the designs, I think really are stand out. Like obviously relying on, ancient Greek touchdowns, but I think the designs, particularly of like the temple in the beginning, which is funny when the fucking Zeus comes to life,
freaks out,
scares the shit out of him. That was good.
Don't recognize your old man.
But fucking Rip Torn. I think. I think it was a running joke for a while that Rip Torn was dead, even though he wasn't. But he actually has been dead for 7 years now, so that's a shame. Rest in peace to Rip Torn. Great voice for Zeus. It's like, how there's a is winds of winter out yet.com. I feel like there was a is Rip Torn dead yet.com, and
no way.
For a while it was. For a while it was actually surprisingly no. Unfortunately now it's surprisingly yes, he actually is no longer with us, unfortunately. The Thebes, the Thebes stuff, the underworld is like really coolly designed and stuff. Like all of it just is really like visually very interesting too. So you really just, I don't know, it's light in terms of pacing, it's a hero's journey. It's, funny. It's, sonically pleasing with the music. Like, I don't know. It's just all those things about a Disney movie, especially in the 90s, where like they just had it going on, man. I think this was a little bit of a box office disappointment compared to some of the things that had come out in the 90s, but I don't know. I'm sure some of this, again, I can't ode to nostalgia, going back to what I said earlier. But I just really, really like this on a rewatch too. I think it absolutely holds up. So, probably have other things that I laughed at and probably could talk about, but I don't know. It's just a really, really fun movie, and I think that's the thing that sticks out to me. Is just it's a movie that brings me a lot of joy, and as an adult, it brings me a lot of joy. I think maybe at some point in my life, if I become a father, which, like to at some point, I'm sure it will bring me more joy, then on a personal level, and then, for other reasons too. So, it's been a staple of my life, and I just hadn't really been appreciating it for a long time, but I think this has kind of reminded me that
there are more that you have not appreciated.
Oh, I'm sure there will be. I know, and I think what it is too is kind of my last thing, I guess, maybe to talk about this generally before we fully wrap up, is like it kind of just came out in 1997, and there really hasn't been a lot that I think has kept it in the forefront of people's minds. So there was a TV show that they did, and I never watched the TV show. It
looked kind of shit, though.
It was kind of shit. It auto-played, and for like the first 5 minutes,
he was like, "I don't need this." Right? Exactly.
Because it's him as a teenager, where when he's being trained by Phil, which is like a fun enough concept, but it's like 50 fucking episodes. I'm like, I'm not watching that. But the animation is, it looks shittier. The quality's not as good generally. Yeah, I also read that because it was kind of just like, well, how does this work? Because Hades doesn't know he's alive. That's a whole thing in the movie is, Pain and Panic obviously give him the potion, and he doesn't drink the last drop. And so Hades thinks everything's good, and, Hercules is out of the way. But then he finds out in the movie. So basically what I read was like, yeah, the show just like contradicts the movie in many different ways. I'm like, well, kind of
I don't need that.
Kind of undercuts it a little bit if it just, completely, doesn't line up with what the movie, which is the original thing, tells us, But yeah, they were supposed to do a sequel at one point, which I think would have been set in the Trojan War, maybe closer to what the original concept was before it got retooled into the Hercules that we know it, but that didn't happen. I think in part because maybe it underperformed, but I think also it was just a change in leadership at Disney, I think is what ultimately scuttled it. But there's no like theme park ride. There's no Hercules theme park ride. Like you probably can run into Hercules and Meg at one of the parks, I imagine, but I don't know that for a fact.
I've never seen it. Yeah, I've never seen it.
Yeah, and it's just kind of like, I don't know, like this movie deserves to be in part of the Disney classics pantheon, I would argue. So I don't know. And I did see, because Anna asked me about this, was like, did they ever do like a stage version of it? Because it would totally work as a stage
totally,
musical.
Yeah.
And in 2019, they did an off-Broadway version, which has had a few different runs off-Broadway, Millburn, Hamburg, and West End last year specifically. So maybe that'll come to Broadway. And I think that could be really cool. I mean, I think stage design-wise for some like the Hydra and stuff, you'd have to get pretty creative, but it could be pretty cool. And the music, would translate perfectly. So,
what did Anna think about Hercules? She watched it with you, presumably, right?
She did. She was happy to watch it. She enjoyed it. She almost she thought about maybe pushing for an appearance herself on this, but ultimately wasn't feeling up for it on this particular evening. But no, I think she loves it. I think she has the same kind of reverence that we do, and I think certainly an appreciation because she is very much she's literally a classics major. So yeah. So
cool.
Or she's a Latin major. She wasn't a classics major, but very heavily intertwined.
She read a lot of shit. She's read a lot of classics.
She's read a lot. She knows a lot more about this certainly than me, probably than you. Although
definitely more than me.
You're more immersed in it than I am. I've stuck to Wikipedia so far, but it all really interests me. And Hades and the Hades video games definitely.
It's your reference, yeah.
Yeah, reference.
Stephen Fry's my reference, so that's okay.
Sure. Yeah. And kind of the last thing that hasn't happened for this movie yet, but it's maybe going to happen at some point, is it getting the live action treatment like all these other fucking Disney movies have had.
Please don't.
So the latest, and I think we've talked about this probably years ago now because it's been a long time since we've heard anything about it. But June 2022, Guy Ritchie was attached to direct.
I don't want it. I don't want
it. And the Russos were attached as producers, and I think maybe still are. But yeah, there hasn't been a lot of movement on that front. Obviously, think maybe we're past the heyday of the live action Disney movies, and given the fact that this movie hasn't had as much play certainly as the Cinderellas, the Beauty and the Beast, the Lion Kings, the ones that definitely did already get their live action versions, maybe this one will not happen because it's just a little too late for it to be in that party. But that might be okay. You know what I mean? I don't know if obviously there are other Hercules things, TV shows, movies. There's one with The Rock in it, there's other Herculeses out there. It could be fun. It could be fine. But as with all those live action ones, I don't need it. Not asking for it.
I think a Hercules show
this stands on its own. Yeah. I mean, again, all these things could work, so I like a newer show, better modern animation maybe and stuff. You could, when Danny DeVito's around, you can bring him back, bring whoever's still around.
Why is there not a Greek mythology show?
There is sort of a, I think we noticed this as we were trying to figure out what should we cover, as part of doing some Greek mythology things. It's kind of just there are a few, and some are maybe not so good, that we could cover, but I don't know. There really doesn't seem to be one big standout, even movie, or TV show, there really hasn't. So maybe I guess that's why the Odyssey is.
Blood of Zeus, I guess, is a Netflix thing.
Oh, that's true. I did forget that existed. I never did watch that. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess that could be something. I don't know. Very different from this. Different target audience for sure. But I don't know. It doesn't feel like there's been a bunch of stuff. I feel like Rome had a TV show. I don't know. It just feels like other things have
a major blind spot.
Yeah, I don't know. There's stuff. Don't get me wrong. There's stuff. And there's probably good stuff that we have seen or haven't seen, but it does feel like there's not enough. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know. Either way, do you have any final thoughts on
No final
Hercules?
thoughts. Final thoughts are, I guess I do have one final thought. If you haven't revisited these classic Disney cartoons, such as Pocahontas, such as Beauty and the Beast, Lion King, dude.
Shit slaps.
Yeah, just really any of them. You could just spin a wheel and pick one.
For sure. Yeah.
They are they're very well crafted tales. Yeah. All these are very good movies. I like I say, anytime anyone picks one in the house and we end up watching it, does not disappoint. Don't want to get up. Good stuff. Rewatchable. From music to animation to story, they're just well-rounded pieces. They're very good. So they're good to share with the family. They're good to share with friends. They're nostalgic. They're I don't know, just enough praise can't be shoveled on top of them, because I think they're excellent stuff. So anytime you want to talk about one, you will find a partner to talk about it. I promise you. All right.
Well, maybe we can make that at least a regular bonus episode. Maybe we won't go back to it until after the Odyssey, but that leaves us, close to half a year, in terms of 2026 alone. So I'm down. I'm sure I could persuade Anna to watch some classic Disney stuff, because we probably would be doing it anyway. So yeah, I'm down. Very, very down for that. At a minimum, definitely recommend Hercules, 1997. Check it out on Disney Plus. But I think we're going to leave it there and wrap this bonus episode up by saying thank you all for listening. If you enjoyed what you heard, please spread the word. Again, for those of you who are supporting us on Patreon and listening to this episode that way, thank you very much. If you are not currently a supporter on Patreon, but maybe you feel like you want to, I don't know, hear our future bonus episodes before anyone else, or at least the same time as the other Patreon supporters, then I would encourage you to visit patreon.com/watchreviewrepeat. Again, it's only $2 a month, and that will get you those bonus episodes, early access to all of our regular episodes, and it helps us out, Trying to make a plea, It's not trying to enrich ourselves. It's
help us, please.
Help us, please. Help us, please. It's a little bit more Anastasia. Not quite Pain and Panic. The website is watchreviewrepeat.com if you are trying to find anything about our podcast. Of course, there are links to all our social media accounts that we're on there, links to all of our episodes, links to Patreon is on there. There's a premium tab up on the top left that you can click that has a lot of info about Patreon and has a helpful button, a call to action button to, get you signed up there. But yeah, we're on Facebook, facebook.com/watchreviewrepeat. We're on Instagram at watchreviewrepeat. We are on Blue Sky, watchreviewrepeat.bsky.social, and YouTube as well. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please send it our way, watchreviewrepeat@gmail.com. Certainly, hey, if you got a classic Disney cartoon you want covered, classic Disney animated movie, we'd be happy to do that sometime down the road. But I think more imminently, if you've got recommendations for something that is either a film or TV show that is Greek mythology inspired and you think might warrant a look before July when the Odyssey rolls around,
we are game.
Very game. I'm happy to. I think would both be happy to take a look at something like
that. Especially it's something we've never seen before.
Definitely. And I think there's a fair share of things that we haven't seen, either of us. There's stuff that we have seen that certainly might be worth a revisit because it's been a long time. But yeah, no, I think we haven't locked anything in for our next one. So open to suggestions. Let's see, our intro and outro track is Mechanolith by Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com, licensed under the Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0 license. I just said it. We don't know what we're doing for our next bonus, and because we don't know where this places in terms of the regular episode release schedule, I can't tell you what we covered last episode, and I can't tell you what we covered what we are covering for the next episode. But rest assured, this will be sandwiched between episodes. You'll have something coming along. Yeah, definitely suggestions for what to cover for the next bonus. I think our hope is maybe to do one or two more things before July. I think that could be possible.
It's achievable.
It's achievable, especially when we're when we're limiting it to something that's maybe one movie or one project or a couple movies, or like if we're not getting crazy like we used to with our bonus episodes covering 6 movies.
Yeah,
and those were fun, of course, but having a singular focus I think is easier on us, and yeah, I don't know, maybe it makes for more focused, better content as well. I'm not sure. So either way, we'll be back in some incarnation with something. But that's all the information I can give you right now. So until next time, we were going to leave you there.
Take care now. Bye-bye then.
Laters on the Menche.